Okay, good morning and welcome to the Daily Double Mishnah Yomi as part of Yeshiva YouTube. We're starting the third parak of Masechas Maasros today. Mishnah is Aleph and Beis. Mishnah Aleph is Amaver Te'inim B'Chatzer or Lixos. We talked about different ways of Koveya, that it's considered to be Chayiv and Shumas and Maasros. You can't even snack from them. One of the things we discussed is coming into your house. So if you go into your Chatzer, but here you didn't stop in your Chatzer, you went through your Chatzer, and you pass through and you go to, I don't know, the factory where you're going to press them into figs. So, Bano b'nei Beisa ochlin u'pturim. He himself, doesn't say about himself, but his children and the people in his house, his wife, his children, ochlin u'pturim, right? We're talking about where it wasn't nigmar malachta, so it wasn't processed yet. So they could eat in their potter. Apolim she'imo, because Bano b'nei Beisa is not yadok yado. He doesn't own his children like his hand. It's not his hand. He has the rights. He has the ability, the chiyuv to feed his family, but they're not himself. So therefore, he himself passed through his chatzer. So as he passed through his chatzer, he has the ownership of his chatzer. Hashem said, "Take over Shumas Hamayis." You can't snack from him, but his children can snack from him because his children are not him. Hapolim sheimo. How about his workers? Right, where he made a deal with them. I hired you for $20 an hour or something like that. He doesn't have to feed them, right? Ochlan uftur, and just like the people in his house, right? They could eat and they're potter. Aval, however, if he has contractually obligated himself to feed them, in which case he's not paying a wage for them, he's paying to feed them. That's what they're like avodim, they're like a slave. That's what slaves are. Slaves are, they do work for you and you feed them, you take care of them. So you can make a pole into your eved. So he makes your eved harei elo yichlu. They can't eat anymore because yado ki yadam. They're like, you own them. You own these avodim. They're avodim. You own them, and therefore, just like you can't eat, but they went through your chutzner, they can't eat also. Beis amosi pole of the soda. He takes his workers out to the field. He hired them for something else, not to eat in the field. Again, where he doesn't contractually obligate himself to feed them, again, they're not like his hand, they're not his slaves, right? He hired them, if he allows them to go eat from his field, right? He allows the matana, as the Rav says, giving a present to someone is not a mecher, it's not the same thing as doing a business deal. However, if he has to feed them, he can contractually obligate to feed them. Then they can snack. They can snack one by one from the teina. Not from the basket of gathered figs, and not from a kupa, which would be like a crate of figs. Not a storehouse, because when you take from them, that's already eating in a permanent fashion. You can't eat in a permanent fashion because they're like his avodim. So here we're talking about it's lo nigmar malach, where it wasn't finished, it wasn't processed, it wasn't brought to chutzner, so snacking is still allowed as long as you don't do it in a permanent fashion. However, if they're not your slaves and you just give them a ton, then they could even have a meal from it because it wasn't it wasn't even chayiv in Shumas Maasros at all. It didn't even start being chayiv in Shumas Maasros at all. It wasn't nigmar malach though. That would be the conclusion of today's shir. Stay tuned for Ian Mitzia, and we'll discuss these issues further.